The aim of my project is to look at the values and beliefs that Australians hold around climate change. The idea was to see if people who held certain beliefs fell into a particular demographic, such as age, gender, or education level. I picked this topic because I felt that in the lead up to the recent federal election, there was very little debate around policies to do with the environment, renewable energy, or climate change. The Coalition was very vocal in their promise to abolish the mining tax and the carbon tax. In the run-up to the election, the Coalition also promised to review with a plan to reverse the ALP's expanded marine parks. They would cut spending on effectively slowing down the water buyback scheme of the Murray-Darling Basin. They would review the renewable energy target in 2014. Any reduction of this target will reduce investment in the area. They were to cut the Climate Commission, the Climate Change Authority, the Clean Energy Finance Corporation, the Biodiversity Fund, and the Energy Security Fund. They would review the charitable tax status of green organisations. They would review the health impact of wind farms. They were to back out of the Environmental Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act, handing back this power to the states. The reason the Commonwealth assumed the power in the first place was it was thought that there was a conflict of interest by the decision makers at a state level. They also were to offer incentives to boost mineral and petroleum exploration and streamline the environmental approval process, effectively cutting green tape. With the exception of the Greens, no other party seemed to be talking about these issues. The result of the election was a swing towards the Coalition and other political groups which did not have strong environmental platforms. My conclusion was that the majority of Australians do not think the environment is in danger or that climate change is a problem that needs to be looked at. If you want to change people's attitudes and behaviours, it would help to know what people's opinions and beliefs are, the demographic of those who hold the opinions you want to change, and why they might hold such opinions or beliefs to start with. My survey was designed to provide some of the answers to these questions. I emailed a link to my survey to everyone who works at the company I do. I posted it on Facebook, and I had my 16-year-old stepson apparently commit social suicide by posting it on his Facebook page. I deliberately didn't send it to my fellow Integrated Human Studies students or post it on my Twitter feed, as I thought that these people were going to be more sympathetic to the climate change cause, as they would have been exposed to it through their studies or are already vocal on the subject. Based on this one small survey of over 100 people who generally live in Western Australia, most respondents believe that climate change is a threat to the planet. Almost 1 in 5 believe that humans are not the cause and can't influence the outcome of climate change. The remaining 9% just think that the issue is hype created by the media. So this surprised me. I thought that far more people would either choose the option that climate change is not real, which was listed first on the survey, or that humans were not the cause, which was listed second. That the majority thought climate change is real and a threat was not what I expected. When asked what people believed is the cause of climate change, 60% chose man-made reasons, like deforestation or the burning of fossil fuels. Of the remaining 40% who don't believe humans are the cause, 37% think that climate change is just the natural cycle in the planet's changing weather patterns, and 3% believe that climate change is a work of fiction. The majority of those surveyed believe that action on climate change is needed, but 27% don't know what to think because there are too many opposing opinions, 10% don't believe the science and think the results are manipulated, while 5% can't see climate change, so find it hard to believe. When asked what they thought could be done to combat climate change, the majority of non-believers also said they didn't think there was anything to be done. However, they were split between nothing because climate change isn't happening and nothing because there is nothing that humans can do which will influence the climate changing. Still, some of these people thought that if we changed how we lived our lives, it would help, and scientific research might find a solution. Interestingly, when asked what they thought they could do personally to make a difference, no one who thought that climate change was hype selected that there was nothing they could do about it. The nothing choice was deliberately at the top of the list. Of those who believed that humans are not the cause of climate change, only one said that there was nothing they could do to make a difference. Half the respondents believed planting trees would help, and the rest was split between recycling, using less power and water, or using their car less. Strange choices if they believe we can't influence the outcome. These answers were quite different from what I expected. So I went into this survey believing that the majority of ordinary Australians didn't really believe that environmental issues are important or that climate change is an issue that requires action. I had formed my view based on the lack of prominence that these issues got in the media in the lead up to the election, together with the fact that, in my view, the Coalition appears to want to reverse any policy put in place by the preceding government to encourage investment in renewable energy, protect the environment, or promote further inquiry or research into climate change. I even sort of selected my target audience. I avoided a group of respondents who I thought would be far more informed and are already somewhat vocal on the issue. The result of the survey came as a surprise because the majority of respondents believe climate change is a threat and an issue that needs attention. If my survey is at all representative of the way Australians view climate change, why then was there so little support for these issues during the recent election? That would be the subject of an entirely different survey.